Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to What's Still and Doing. It's a show about things that I've got going on in my life. I set my alarm early. I said, you know what? I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to do a small Potter House project, and I'm going to seize this day. And then I walked out of my bedroom, and I looked out the window, and I was completely shocked. So shocked that I just threw on a shirt, didn't even brush my hair, and I said, I got to show these guys this because it's crazy. Let's take a look. I went to bed at around 1:30, 2 o'clock this morning, and there wasn't a single flurry falling from the sky. And I woke up at 8 a.m., and this is what I saw out the window. Disaster Town, USA. Population, me, bro. Crazy, right? It's crazy out there. I gotta tell you though, I'm not a fan of the snows. I know a lot of people like it and they think it's really pretty. I'm just not one of those people. I think it's gross and I think it's cold and I think it's inconvenient and it makes everything messy and cars get dirty. I don't like the snows. Sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I long for a day where I don't live in an area where it does this outside. I hate it. Anyway, I've got a small Potter House project up my sleeve, but first things first, I need to go brush my teeth. There's a lot going on right here. I need to go brush my hair, because there's a lot going on right here. And I need to get everything set up and ready, so I'll be right back. Much better, right? I feel much better. Even though there's a ridiculous amount of disgusting snow outside, I feel much better. So, I did state before that we were going to be working on a small Potter House project, and I know I stated in the last video that I wasn't going to be doing that for a couple months. However, this is just something I wanted to kind of get out of the way. I had all of the supplies I needed on hand to finish it, or at least I thought I did. Maybe not so much, but I do have it in a position to where I can do some work on it today, and I figured, what the heck, I got some time, let's do this. And then also maybe next week, I'm going to give you guys a full look around the room, just kind of show you what it looks like thus far. I haven't done that since the very first video, so next week you can expect a video to see how the project has come along, what it looks like right now, and then we'll take a break, kind of enjoy the Christmas holiday season, and then we'll come back to the Potter House stuff. Today I've got a taxidermy hogshead mount that I purchased from a family member a few years back, maybe like 6-7 years back, that needed some tender love and care. It is quite old, or at least we think it's quite old. The family member that I purchased this from got it out of like a secondhand store or an antique store, and so neither of us know the history of this piece. But it seems like it's very, very old. It could have just been stored in really harsh conditions, and that's why it looks old. But regardless, it just really needs some touch-up work done to it. Now, like everything else in this room, it's not intended to look brand new, like I just bought it off the shelf, or that I just hunted this piece and got it, mounted. I need to fix it and make it look better than it currently does while maintaining some of that antique quality to it, which is going to be kind of tough, but with the way everything has worked out so far, I think it's manageable. The biggest problem area on this piece was the nose. The nose was completely separated from the snout. It was hanging on at the bottom, but the top was there was about a 1/4 inch of space between the hide and the actual mount. So I had to pack that in with some air dry clay, and the lips around the lower part of the jaw was also really cracked and separated from the mount, peeling back. So I jam-packed that in with some air dry clay as well, which I thought was going to work flawlessly. But air dry clay is a pain in my butt, you guys. I don't know that I'll ever work with it again. Maybe it was just the type that I bought or the brand that I purchased, but it does not dry well. It's air dry clay and it just cracks. It's very brittle. I was successful with the nose. The nose is pretty intact, but a lot of the areas that I packed in with clay around the mouth have cracked and chipped and fallen away. It kind of maintains some of that antique quality that I want to maintain. So I think that it'll be okay. It is manageable. And like I said, the nose was really the most problem-esque area of the mount. And it's for the most part intact. So I'll be able to paint that with no issues. But there is still going to be some cracks and stuff around the lower jaw. So today I'm going to be painting these areas that I have repaired with this clay. And I wanted to have this entire mount finished 100% done by the end of this video, but unfortunately that's not the case. So he had teeth, he had some tusks, but they were really small. And when I think back to the Hogshead pub, there's a hog mount on the wall, and of course this is like a fictional looking hogshead. It's very cartoonish, but it does have these huge, like really curly, gnarly tusks. And I wanted to have something like that on this hogshead. They were kind of hard to find, so I thought, I'm gonna make these. I took a copper coat hanger and cut some pieces and kind of bent those into shape, wrapped them in some tin foil, and then coated them in this air dry clay, which again, it did not dry well. I did 2 attempts. The first attempt, I think I used too much tin foil and not enough clay, because as they dried, they just shattered and crumbled into tiny little pieces, which kind of broke my heart. But I thought, you know what, that's okay. I'm gonna do a second attempt and I'll just do less tin foil, more clay, which worked better, but it still cracked. And I tried to fill in those cracks with new clay, fresh, wet clay, but it, again, as it dried, it cracked. So it just didn't work out. And I'm not gonna be able to have the teeth mounted on this thing and have it 100% done by the end of the video. It's just the way things work out sometimes. But he needs some serious tender loving care. And I'm hoping that I can provide that for him today, but I don't know. I'm extremely out of my element here. There's a lot of stuff going on with this that I've never done before. Granted, there's a lot of stuff in this room that I've done that I had never done before and it turned out great, but this is kind of a one and done thing. I don't have a backup hogshead mount. So if I screw this up, I don't really know how to reverse it or how to fix it. With the mirror, when I didn't like that, I just sanded it down and redid the mirror. But I don't know that I can do something like that with this hogshead. So I'm a little nervous about it. I'm also going to be using some tools that I've never used before. I had a friend let me get an airbrush, and I can't really say that I've never used this before, because I did use one in high school once. So this will be the second time I've ever even held one of these things, and I'm quite nervous about that. But I don't know, I think it's manageable. I think we can make it work. So I've got everything set up. I've got the interior of the mouth all taped off from overspray from the airbrush, and I've got everything kind of cleaned. And I think I'm gonna start on the nose because that's what I know, that's what I'm used to. I'm just gonna be using some acrylic paint and a brush. And I'm gonna brush that on, try to stipple some texture back into the clay areas that I packed in, and then that's an easy fix. Then I gotta move on to this guy. Like I said, I'm quite nervous about it, but as long as I get the color correct and kind of play around with the size of the spray on some paper and stuff before I commit to it, it should work out all right. It should be okay. So that's the adventure we are on today, guys. So this is him, all filled with clay. And like I said, the mouth did not cooperate well, but I think I can work with it. If you look here, this is pretty much the state the entire bottom jaw was in. All of this was separated. And these areas, the clay is still intact. This is chipped and cracked, but I'm just gonna leave it like it is. Leave it how it is and just do some airbrushing all around the bottom jaw. There's a little bit in the top as well. It's gonna need some airbrushing. These spots that are cracked and removed, I might hit them with the paint. I haven't decided yet. They're just gonna, like I said, make it feel like it's still antique and old, but not as antique and old as it did before when all of this was cracked and separated from the mount. And then of course the nose, you can really see how much clay I had to pack in there, how separated the nose was from the rest of the mount. So that's pretty much intact. There are some cracks there, which will really just be filled in with paint, and that paint is going to dry in a semi-thick layer around the clay and prevent it from cracking any further. Should keep it all intact. And that's really all that I have to worry about painting today. There is, however, a little bit of clay near the eye. There was a crack here. As you can see, there is still a crack on this side, because as I was filling this in with clay, I realized, oh man, I'm gonna have to airbrush that too. And I really don't want to use the airbrush too much because I'm nervous about it. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But this is him right now. All the clay has dried. What little is still attached has dried and is ready for paint. And we're gonna start with his little nose. Just gonna do some acrylic paint and some brush there. And then I might have to like dab some of it with some paper towel after it's painted, do a few layers on there just so it keeps this stippled texture that the rest of the nose has. Blend that clay in really well. But that'll be it for that. And then the terrifying airbrush saga will begin. Gosh, I'm just so nervous about using this thing. But who knows, maybe it'll work out really well and I'll love it and I'll start using an airbrush for a lot of my pieces. That's a positive spin on things, right? Let's get to it. His little nose needs some paint. So I've been working with the airbrush a little bit off of camera, just getting a feel for it, trying to figure out how the thing works, all that jazz. I tested it on some paper, and then I did a test spot on the hog to see how it would look, see how it dries, things like that. And with a little bit that I've done, it's going pretty much exactly how I expected it to, which is not good at all. But I'm going to persist, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to see this thing through, even if it looks worse than it did before. And I've done videos like this before. I've sat down and I've started and finished a project, and it looked horrible, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, whatever the case was, and I didn't post it. But I'm not going to do that with this video, because I think it's important for you guys to see that sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to, and you just have to keep going. That's all a process of learning. I learn hands-on. I do things. If it doesn't work out, then I try it a different way, and I keep going and keep going. And yeah, this one kind of stinks because, like I said at the start of the video, I don't have a spare taxidermy hog's head that I can start this project over with. It was a risk, and I knew that going into it. I'm gonna see it through. And who knows, it might turn out a little bit better than what I'm looking at right now. If I close one eye, it doesn't look half bad. Yeah. Very stressful video for me today. But like I said, it's coming out because I think it's important that you guys see that not everything I do in here just turns out fantastic the first time around. Sometimes I have to do it over and over and over again until I get it right. But that's life. That's how we learn. I'm just going to keep going. And I'm going to film myself painting the rest of this thing. Keep your comments to yourself because you might hurt my feelings. Just saying. Yeah. That's life, right? That's life. We just keep going. We just keep going, keep on trucking. So that's what I'm going to do. Something tells me some comfort food is in my future this afternoon. But you know what? To heck with it. Let's keep going. Let's see what we end up with. What a stinking mess, you guys. So, I'm going to pull this back because from a distance, it doesn't look that terrible. It's just a lot darker than I had anticipated it being. And it's shinier. I guess the finish of the airbrush paint that I was using is a gloss finish, which doesn't look bad. But it looks newer than I wanted it to. That shine makes it look new. And part of me wishes I would have just left it alone. So what I ended up doing is airbrushing around the mouth and around the nose. And it was so dark that I thought, I'll just do the rest of him. So I did like the top half of his fur up around his ears. And then I left everything down here that fleshy color. So all this hair is covered in airbrush. All the hair running down his snout is covered in airbrush. There's a strip along the top of his head. All of it's been airbrushed. Up around the ears, around the eyes. That way it looked a little bit more cohesive, because when I had just done the snout, it looked horrible. It looked so bad. So, I'm not happy with this one, you guys. But like I said before, these things happen. They're unavoidable. I mean, I guess they're avoidable if you know what you're doing. But it is part of the process of learning. And what have I learned today? I've learned a lot. I just don't like it. It doesn't look good to me. It looks like I used spray paint down here. That doesn't look good at all. At all, you guys. Very, very disappointed. Like I said before, these things happen. They happen. It's all part of learning. That is the downside to learning on your own, to teaching yourself. You're not just going to know how to do stuff right out the gate. That's just how it goes sometimes, you guys. And I feel bad because that's just who I am. I feel bad that I posted a subpar video, and that's why I haven't posted videos like this before. But like I said, it's important that you see this kind of thing, that you see that not everything works out, and the only thing you can do is pick yourself up off the floor, go eat some fried chicken and some macaroni and cheese and some mashed potatoes, and try again. At least that's my method. It doesn't look terrible, and I know some of you are probably going to be like, that doesn't look bad at all. It just doesn't look the way that I wanted it to. And even if a little bit of it is off, I feel like I have failed. So that's where I'm at today. I also, while I was painting, spilled a bowl of water on the floor. It's just not been a good one. I should have known the second I woke up and I saw the snow outside. Today's not going to be great. Mama said there'd be days, right, guys? Today is one of them. So I'm going to clean up. I'm going to stop looking at this thing because it's making me sad. And I'm going to go get some food because I haven't eaten yet today. I'm starving. I want a Hostess cupcake, probably some ice cream and some fried chicken and some mac and cheese and some mashed potatoes and a nap. That's where I'm at. Current headspace. That's what Dylan's doing. He's going to go eat some food he shouldn't. Anyways, I'm happy you guys are here with me today. It's nice to have you guys kind of lean on when I'm feeling down like this, which doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does, and that's just, you just got to deal with it. But thank you for being here for me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the video next week. I am going to show you the room in its entirety, see what it looks like right now, and then we're going to take a break for a while. And I kind of need it. I kind of need it. Oh, I love you guys. Thanks again for watching. I'm Dylan, and this is what I've been doing. Bye.